Hello, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be back together again, even if virtually. We are really happy to see you and to be able to share with you this incredible journey that is a hero's journey. We kindly ask you to mute your microphone during the meeting and unmute yourself only when you have a question. So now I ask our artistic director, Francesco Senese, to present this edition of the Festival Musica sull'Acqua and to introduce you to our today's hero.
It's working now? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, hi everyone. It's a really big pleasure to be back together again, all together, even in this unusual way. And we thought with the festival organization, with the staff, with Patrizia, with all the MACH tutors, that would have been a pity to not meet this year because of this very difficult situation that the world passed and is still passing through. The idea that came to our minds and our hearts was that after this experience, would have been very nice to take the chance to listen, to really even stop to play and take the chance to listen to the music of the silence. As we know, silence is very important to make music, and sometimes we miss the chance to listen to the silence during our activity in music, in real life, in all aspects of life. So to take the chance to listen to the silence and of our spaces, the dear spaces we have, the physical spaces we have close to our heart, or the spaces we have inside ourselves, would have been really a pity not to do this this process this year, since we can't play together. But we can play in another way. We can take the chance to really be in contact and to listen in a different way to each other. When I spoke to Patrizia to invite her again to the MACH project and to the festival, some of you met Patrizia 2 years ago when she gave us a wonderful workshop about the talent, and we thought that would have been nice to tell to everybody some stories. For me, was beautiful the chance to meet somebody and to let him or her tell his own story. And Patrizia had this wonderful idea to tell stories through the storytelling method of the hero's journey. This is something for a lot of people unusual, maybe not so well known, but this is something about everybody. It's something that is touching deeply everybody. It's something which is connect with everybody. And so we thought this is, in this moment, a very nice way to get to know a bit more about ourselves. And I want to tell something about Patrizia, very simply. Somebody knows her already. Patrizia is part of this project of the festival since many years. She collaborated with us many times, and she has an extraordinary capacity to work with teams and to organize teams. And since we are an orchestra, we are a team, and it's nice to have somebody to work with together, to raffinate our way to be musician and to communicate together. But she didn't work only with like our orchestra, but in her life she did many things. And she worked with in fields with the CEO of very big companies, with the stylists, with performers, with athletes, with actors, with different organizations. And in her actual project, she even created a talent academy. And this is for us a big chance to reflect a little bit about ourselves, about our project together, and to make this journey through her voice, and thanks to her voice and her capacity, extraordinary capacity, her friendship. And so I'm very, very happy to introduce Patrizia to all of us. And I wish you a nice journey through these 5 meetings. And I introduce Patrizia now.
Thank you very much, Francesco, and thank you very much, Benedetta. For me, it's really an honor, a privilege, and most of all, a deep joy to be here with you tonight. Well, in Italy, it's almost evening. I don't know if you guys are from different parts of the world. Probably you are in different time of the day. So it's really a honor and a joy, because I really respect and I have such a big love for what you do. I'm not good in that. I love music, I love art, but I would be a very bad musician if I tried to. And that's why, for example, I have the honor and I consider you really my heroes and superheroes, because you do constantly beautiful thing that I wouldn't be able to do, and you do constantly something that not only gives to yourself a great satisfaction, I think, but also you give something very important and very precious to the world. So why I'm here tonight? Because I'm a very selfish person and I love to be with wonderful people like you. And I'm also here because since I was a child, I had a dream. I remember when I was very young, I didn't care very much about fairy tales, for example. I didn't ask my parents to read me fairy tales or bedtime stories if bedtime stories were fairy tales. I was really charmed mostly by real stories or by people's stories. That's why as soon as I learned how to read, I used to go to the library, and a very old and small library in the same road where my grandmother used to live. And I used to go there and say, grandmother, I'm going to the library and to pick up some books. And I would leave home like 3 o'clock p.m. and I would pick up different books, open them to see what it's about. And then I would find myself at 7 p.m. sitting on the floor reading the stories. I was really charmed by people. I was really charmed by stories. I remember my grandfather, whose name was Giuseppe in Italian. He was a really handsome man with wonderful blue eyes like the ocean. And I was very charmed by him because he was strong, he was handsome, but most of all, because he was a soldier in World War II. He didn't fight very much because as soon as he went to fight to the war, he got caught by the English army. And he was lucky enough to be brought not to Russia, where it was very cold and very difficult, but to United States. So he spent 5 to 6 years in California, in cotton fields. And of course, and I remember my mom telling me that when he came back, he was, tanned, strong, beautiful, with a big bag full of food and with a Vicks Vaporub. Probably you know what it is. And if you imagine at that time, that was, science fiction, because in Italy we didn't have such wonderful things. So my mom used to tell me, after that, when we got colds and things, we had this beautiful American medicine that could help us. And I still have in my mind and my mom used to tell me, I was sitting in front of the door on the doorsteps, and I didn't know that my dad was coming back after such a long time that day. And I saw this handsome guy coming toward me, and I realized it was my dad. And I can tell you this, although I wasn't there because it was my mom experience, but I can tell you very well because my mom used to talk to me about this wonderful moment all the time. And every Sunday night, we used to go, all the family used to go for dinner at my granddad and grandmom house. And they used to cook all the good food that we shouldn't eat, but we did. And it was, we could have Coca-Cola, for example. At that time, Coca-Cola was kind of very expensive. So I couldn't have Coca-Cola at home. But that Sunday night, we could drink a lot of Coca-Cola. And of course, I wanted always to sit close to my grandfather. And after a few minutes, I would ask him, okay, grandfather, tell me about when you were a prisoner in California. And of course, all the rest of the family, the adults, my uncle and aunts would do, oh my God, not again, please, Patrizia, stop it. But I was so charmed by his stories. And not only about his stories, also about the stories of my friends at school. I wanted to know about their lives. Also, when I was driving, well, not driving, I was in the car, my dad was driving, and we used to go around in the city in the evenings. I don't know if you do it, but what I did, I still do it. I used to watch all the windows, in the night. You can see the lights in the windows. I used to catch what was inside the house, and I used to imagine who's living there, what they're doing, what are they living, which experiences are they going through. I wish I was a little fly and I could be there. My husband say I always mind other people's business, but it's not that. I'm so charmed. I love so much human beings. And since I was as a child in elementary school, I had the capability, I would call it now the talent, but then I didn't know, to see the talent in other people. I remember I had 2 girlfriends. They used always to be, they were very good in drawing, and they used to draw all these beautiful, princesses and so on. And one time they told me, we wish to become stylists, but that won't be possible because it's very difficult, And I used to say, oh, but you will become that because you have it. You will become that. And guys, 5 years ago, now I'm 57. So I'm talking about when I was 50 years ago. After five-ish years ago, something like that, somebody organized a dinner with the friend of elementary school. I found out, of course, at that dinner that the boy I used to love didn't even care about me. Okay. That's why he never answered to my messages. But I found out that another boy I didn't care about it was in love with me, but okay. And this is what happens. You always love somebody who loves somebody else, and you're loved by somebody who you don't love very much. That is your story usually when you are a teenager or something like that. And that is what life is teaching you about what's going to happen sometimes. And eventually you find somebody you love and they love you, and you said, okay, thanks God I wasn't loved by the one previously, because this is the one with whom I'm very happy. But then anyway, I was at that dinner, and we were asking each other, what are you doing? What is your job? And one of the 2 ladies is a stylist, and I still have goosebumps because she came to me and she said, I started all this because you told me it was possible. And she said, what do you do in life? What's your job? And I said, I work I told the job title, but I said, mostly I work with talents. I work to develop talents in people and organization. And she smiled and she said, of course, you couldn't do anything else. So I'm so happy because now today I have the privilege to share these tools with you, and you are talents. And when we talked with Francesco and Benedetta about the hero's journey, and they said, okay, you tell your story because for us you are a hero. But I thought, why would they care about my journey? When you do my job, yes, you are the main character of your own story, but the charm, my real charm is not to tell you about my story. My real charm is to ask you about your story, is to give you tonight the main character role of our hero journey. So if it's okay with you, I will give you some little rules. Please, yes, keep your microphone mute, because so we don't hear other noises. But as soon as you feel like asking something, saying something, even say, you know, I don't agree with you, please feel free to do it. With Zoom, you can raise your hand, or you just unmute yourself and you jump in. I will be glad. Also, I can see some of your faces, not all of them. Maybe it's because of the Wi-Fi and connection you have, but if you can show me your faces, for me it would be better, because otherwise for me it's like, you know, when you talk to the recording messages on the phone and you feel like a little bit stupid. I'm born analogic, so I need to see people's faces. So if you can show you, for the people, like I can see Almon, I can see Catal, I can see Felix, I can see Gaia and Lorenzo and Anna, but I can't see everybody. So if you want to show me your beautiful face, please do it. And I will tell you about the hero journey. Who among you knows already the hero journey? You can even write on the chat if you want. If I ask question, you can either talk or either write on the chat, in the chat. So do you know the hero journey? Do you know what it is? No? Somebody say no, is doing like this. This is no, this is yes. But if you have your camera shut, I won't see what you do. So please write or say something. Do you know the hero journey? Yes, a little bit, maybe. I cannot connect my camera, sorry. Okay, could you unblock, please? Please, somebody unblock Fermin camera. So what is the hero journey and why do we dedicate this hour to this thing? The hero journey is, it's a methodology developed firstly by a person named Joseph Campbell, who studied myths, legends, and stories all around the world in every era of the human beings, humanity. What did this Mr. Joseph Campbell do? He really read everything from you know, the Greek legends to the Veda of Hinduism, to the stories of South America, to any story developed in Europe from Shakespeare to Homero and so on. And he realized that there is one structure which is the same in every story which is loved by human beings, every time, everywhere, all around the world. So he realized that every story, every legend, every myth have a similar pattern. And he wrote books about it. He wrote a wonderful book which is called The Hero of 1,000 Faces, where he explained all this. And he asked himself, why is it so? Why does this happen? This happened because each person, each and any one of you, of us, go through a hero journey in their lives. And the hero journey is the journey that we go through in order to become who we are, in order to make our mission true, in order to evolve, to grow as human beings. Each person, each human being is going through a hero journey through the life, but not only. Each person is going through different hero's journey in different period, time of your life, or even during one day, you can go through a hero journey. It's like when we had the idea of having the MACH program in July in digital this time. We went through a hero journey before we decided to do it and how to do it, okay? And you are going through a huge hero journey, which is your life, but also you are going through different hero's journey in your personal life, in your professional life, in your school life, and so on. I'm gonna tell you now about the structure, the pattern of the hero journey. And I will ask you to think about your own time of life, and you will find yourself at the different stages of the hero journey, okay? Also, what happened? After Mr. Joseph Campbell started publishing his books and his work, he had many students. One of these students was a person who was studying and he was working in psychology, and his name was Carl Jung. I'm sure you know Carl Jung, right? You know who he is. He worked very much with Joseph Campbell, using the hero journey in his daily practice as a doctor. In 2007, another person studied very well the hero journey. His name is Christopher Vogel, and he wrote the pattern applying the hero journey to movies, to theater pieces, and to books. So we will go through the hero journey together, and we will go through the hero's journey also, giving you some example of movies. Think about some movies you really loved, and we may probably find them in the hero journey. Are you ready to go through the journey? Are you ready to leave? Okay, let's go. Why is the hero journey called the hero journey? And why is it not called the hero trip? It's called a journey because when the hero starts, he or she doesn't know where the journey will take them. When you start a trip, you know when you will leave, and you know what you will probably find, and you know for sure when you will come back, right? But a journey is something more adventurous, is something more uncommon, it's something more changing also. Let us go to the hero journey. Now I will share my screen with you. Give me one moment. Do you see my screen? Okay. The hero's journey has 3 X, X1, X2, and X3, and different steps. At the beginning of the hero journey is the hero or the heroine, and usually heroine is not used very much, because it's also something different. So in English, they don't like to use it, also in Italian. But I will use it the hero, but of course, the hero can be a he or a she, of course. At the beginning, the hero is living in the ordinary world. If you think about movies, the hero is somebody living an ordinary life or ordinary world. When I'm saying ordinary, I don't mean that is boring or bad. Ordinary means something familiar, something that she or he knows very well. Then something happens. The hero received a call. Somebody brings a message, or something happens. Maybe something calling the hero for some mission. Maybe it's something calling the hero for an opportunity. Think about yourself. For example, when you got the call to join the orchestra, or when you received the call to start your journey with music. In the next event, you will be able to interview heroes who reached very wonderful success. Success, remember, is the past of succeed. So who succeeded in some mission they had. So when you will do that, remember that also they went through their hero journey, and they will tell you the different stages. So the first stage is the call to adventure. And as I said, in stories, the call to adventure can be a mission, can be an opportunity, can be something bad happening. Some bad character is putting somebody or something in danger, or something has been stolen. Usually movies and books, and that is the story. Or there is a war, or think about the Odyssey, okay? Or there is something happening to the hero. Or maybe it's even an opportunity or a call, okay? The call to adventure usually brings the hero at the edge from the ordinary world to extraordinary world, because it's something new, it's something unknown, and then it's extraordinary. Does the hero quickly say, yes, I'm there, I'm ready, and I'm gonna do it? Usually not. If you think about a movie you like, or a story, a book you like, usually the hero, what does the hero do? He or she refuses the call. In Star Wars, Luke Skywalker say, no, I'm not gonna come, I'm not coming with you guys. I'm here with my uncle and aunt, I'm good, why should I go? Even in The Lord of the Rings, I mean, why? No, I'm nice, I'm a hobbit, I have all my ordinary thing in my comfort zone. Why should I go? Maybe to you also it happened. Why should I come? Why should I do this? Why should I join MACH orchestra? Why should I start going in this school? To many athletes, it happens when they go from having fun as children to the professional world. A team or somebody called them and they say, maybe not, it's too much for me, I don't really care, okay? Why? Because they are numb, because they are stupid? No, because the hero doesn't know he or she is a hero. And why would they leave their ordinary, comfortable, familiar world for something unknown? So they refuse the call. But then another thing happens. The hero meets the mentor. Somebody appears, because it is said when the person is ready, the mentors appear, right? So somebody comes and they have for sure a very high credibility. They are somebody that the hero could admire. They have done somebody, they have achieved somebody, of their appearance communicate they do, they know what they're saying. So they appear and they meet the hero, and they give to the hero usually a provocation. They break the hero pattern. They do something unexpected, but also they tell the hero, you can do it. You are the chosen one. You can do this. Come and join me. And so the hero think a little bit about it, but then the hero accepts the call. And in order to accept the call, the hero crosses the threshold. Before crossing the threshold, usually the hero has to go through some tests, and the tests are performed by an archetype which is called the guardian of the threshold. In real life, they can be friends, family, people who may tell you, why should you do this? Come on. Why should you do it? It's difficult. Then maybe it won't work. Stay with us. Don't change. Is unsure. Is unsafe. Why would you bother? In movies or in books, it can be something like that, or it can be, you know, somebody who asks you some tests, like in Labyrinth. If you know that movie, the girl had to go through some test. The guardian of the threshold is somebody who is putting the hero in a test. If the hero go further, it means the hero is really ready to go to the journey, and the hero starts the journey. Think about yourself, guys. Which was your call? You have many, I'm sure, because each of us is living different journeys. But think about one journey. Maybe the journey you are living with the music. Which was the call? Did you refuse the call, maybe, or maybe not? Because of course, not every hero and every journey has all the 12 steps that I'm gonna tell you. Okay, but most of them. And who was your mentor? Did you meet a mentor? Who was the person? Was a person? Was somebody you had in your dreams? Was a book maybe that you read? The mentor can be a real person or an unreal person. Was somebody in your family, outside your family? Who is today your mentor? Do you have a mentor? After crossing the threshold, the hero starts a big part where he or she finds tests, allies, and enemies. Allies are your company, like in the Lord of the Rings. He's not going alone. He has, a team of friends. Or even in Star Wars, the hero is not alone. And even in different movies or stories, the Odyssey, Ulysses is not alone, of course. Make sure that your allies are people different than you are. If they are the same, they won't bring you any different resources or mindsets. So usually the hero has mighty, different, strange, weird allies, but they are so because your peer group, your allies, should be different than yourself, so they can add their resources and tools to yours. Test is what the hero is going through when he or she starts, and tests usually work in order to start training the hero to the big journey, the big ordeal. It's like when you start a new school. A test is the first day you go into a new class, you have new people, or it's when you change, you go away from your family, you go in a new city, you go living on your own. The first tests are looking for a place, choosing a place, doing things on your own for the first time in your life. Enemies can be people, but usually enemies are people, yes, in the story, are characters in the story, or can also be the part inside yourself, or the little voice that we all have that say, you can do it, you're not good enough, that is difficult, you will never make it. You remember that time that you tried and you failed? If you fail, then you're a failure. That voice also can be an enemy. After all these tests and with his allies and fighting some enemies, and with a mentor who is always training and giving to the hero new resources, of course, and insight, the hero approaches for the first time what is called the inmost cave, which is not a real physical cave, really. It's the inmost cave. Usually the inmost cave is something which is for us the most dangerous spot in the other realm, in the extraordinary world. Whether the villain, the dragon, the demon is there, whether the fearsome enemy is there. In Star Wars, it's when Luke Skywalker go in the bush and fights against Darth Vader. And at a certain point, he takes away his mask and he sees himself. Because really, as an archetype, in the inmost case, we see for the first time our demon, and our demon really is a part of ourself that we haven't yet accepted. That is what, for example, is explained very well by Carl Jung. We have part of ourselves which we won't accept, maybe because we are it's fear there, maybe because we are shy, maybe because we perceive those parts as weaknesses, or maybe because we perceive those parts as something bad, something we don't want people know about. I give you some examples. Our weaknesses, our flaws. We don't like our weaknesses, right? We don't like our flaws because we don't know one thing. And if you want to take away from tonight only one thing, take away this I'm gonna tell you. Our flaws, our weaknesses are only our talents, our strength, taken to an exaggeration and used in a situation when they are not useful. For example, if I'm a very determined person, very strong, full of determination, like a warrior, I train myself very well, I'm very constant, congruent, but I take this to the maximum level possible, I will be violent. I can be somebody who, in order to achieve a goal, won't give a shit. Can I swear a little bit? It's okay. I don't give a shit about anybody, but I go straight to my point and I don't care. I'm there, I reach the goal, and as soon as I reach the goal, I look around and everybody else is dead. Like in the warrior, when they do battles, right? You see the warrior, yes, I won, and everybody else is dead. And say, okay, good, but now everybody's dead. Or I want to take away some very bad grass from the field, so I burn all the field. Good, but you burn the flower too. Or let's say somebody who's very good in having relationship with people, very extrovert, very able to speak with everybody, has a lot of very easy relationship. That is a very fine strength. But if you take it to the exaggeration and you apply this in a serious situation, well, that can be inappropriate, right? Or if I'm very precise, I pay attention to details. I want everything to be very well done. This is a strength. But if I apply it in an exaggeration and I apply it in an appropriate time, for example, a fire starts, I will never be able to find a quick plan to leave because I want to put everything in place and I will burn. Or I can become too precise, which will make me non-flexible, very rigid, okay, very picky, precise, picky. It's different, right? So think about your flaws, about your weaknesses or flaws, mostly flaws. What people say, you are so and so and so, and you don't like that. You don't want to really accept that thing. Think about it. And I'm almost sure that those flaws are really your strength when you exaggerate them and you use them maybe in a moment which is not suitable. Am I right or am I wrong? Do you agree with me or not? Let me, I don't see how do I see okay. Let me know if you're right or wrong. If you want, you can write it on the chat, and Benedetta or Francesco or Daniele can tell me what you think. Or if you want to talk about it, let me know. What do you think? I stop sharing for a while and I listen and I see your chat. So the question was, think about your flaws, what people say, this is your flaw, okay? Aren't they, or that, if it's one, something that it's really your strength, and it becomes a flaw when it's exaggerated, like the example I gave you. I don't want to know which are they. You don't need to tell this, but do you find this is real, or I'm telling nice bullshit to make you feel better? Some of you are smiling. Nobody's talking. Okay, I'm not going to talk more if you don't give me some answer. So we will stay here until tonight. I give you one. The first I gave you was mine, determination. I'm very determined, but at the beginning, I used to burn everything. So I would reach my goals, but you know, I was called volcano, and volcanoes are not very nice usually. What is yours? Francesco, Benedetta, you can also talk. Do you find that what I explained is right or wrong? What do you think? Lorenzo Narici, tell us.
Hello.
Unmute you. Good, Lorenzo. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I hope this will be worth it. Well, I mean, through my process with my during my psychotherapy sessions, one of the things we had to work on a lot was integrating aspects of me that were activating in a harmful way, and actually finding out how these aspects could be somehow controlled during the situations in which they were harmful, but also at the same time seen as something I could use in a useful way for me. Of course, it's very hard, especially when these aspects have been seen in a very negative way for a long time. So, but yeah, it's something that has been definitely useful for me. In my case, I'm not sure I would be able to give them a single name.
Okay.
I'm not sure I'm completely comfortable doing that either, because you know.
And you don't need to yet. No.
But yeah, there were a lot of things that are loosely related to social anxiety that could be seen as some kind of inhibitory aspect that makes me less able to act socially, but they could also be seen as sensitivities that
exactly.
As ways to approach people and try to be close and empathic with people. But that is still kind of a process.
Yeah, Lorenzo, first of all, really thank you very much. Thank you. For many reasons. The first reason is that you were the first talking, and it looks like it was not easy for you to talk, right? Not at all. And yes, if you hadn't said it, I would have told you. Could it be true that what it's called social anxiety, and it's perceived like something harmful, if it's too much, is really sensitiveness, meaning that you care and you're sensible? Most of the time it's so. So it's not a flaw itself. It comes from something powerful, something good, something positive, something which is a strength, but becomes a flaw or something harmful. Okay? Because it's one part of you which is beautiful, but it's applied in a way that becomes harmful or not ecological for yourself. And yes, it's a process. That's why it's the hero journey, Lorenzo. And that's why for you, raising your hand, probably, and answering to my call was also a hero journey. I gave you a call, nobody answered, so everybody refused the call, but then maybe you went through some thinking and then you raised the hand. So you crossed the threshold one time. And knowing what it's your journey, this is a big, big reward. This is a big, big win. So thank you very much, Lorenzo. I really appreciate you. And of course, I wish you all the best and you're gonna achieve it. So, for example, this is an example. So which is the inmost cave? In a movie, of course, the inmost cave is somewhere where our hero finds the opponent. Can be the dragon, can be the demon, can be the bad person, can be the bad king. In The Lion King is where Simba finds his uncle. And The Lion King was written exactly following the hero journey. Because, of course, also Star Wars. In fact, the writer of Star Wars has still a big ranch in the United States, and he invited Mr. Joseph Campbell, who died. He was very old, and he lived his final stage of his life in that place. That, in fact, Star Wars is very used as an example because it was written exactly on Joseph Campbell's work. But even The Lion King, and in fact, who is the real enemy of The Lion King? Do you know The Lion King? I think so. Okay. Who is? Is his uncle, right? It's not a dragon, it's not another animal, it's a lion. And he has the same characteristic of a king, even the uncle, but the characteristic of a king. Why bad? Because the strength, the leadership that the sovereign, that the king should have, were performed in a way which was harmful. In the psychological is when we faced our inmost cave. It's when we faced our real fear. When we faced the aspect of ourselves we really fear, or we don't want to accept, because we think they're not cool, or because they even become harmful. And remember one thing, guys, the most we won't accept them, the most we deny those aspects, the most these aspects become powerful energy and then potentially harmful. So as soon as we accept them, we do what in the hero journey the hero does, is he or she changes the demon and makes it an advisor. So I take the demon, and the demon, like Daenerys, become in Trono di Spade, becomes my advisor. But let's go on. Is at least answer to this question. Is it Is it everything clear? Yeah? Okay. I go back to share screen one more time. After the approach to the inmost cave, the hero fights or encounter the challenge, the ordeal, which is until now the greatest battle, the greatest fight, when he really meets the dragon. And he's good. At the beginning, he or she is not good. He or she loses, fails. And in a movie, we think, okay, this hero is not really a hero, okay? Gets a lot of beaten up a lot, I mean. And it happens to us, right? I remember the first time I had a public speaking event. I remember there were so many people, and I was wearing a dress. I don't remember even the color. Maybe it was white or something like that. And they were making a video, and I was of course, at the end of the room, and I had the dress with the same color exactly of the wall. So in the video, you could see my head, because the dress and the wall had the same color. And I had the computer, of course, and the video, and they did shit. It was awful. After that, I thought I will never, ever stop talk in public anymore in my life. I will do only one-to-one coaching, no more. But then what happens? The mentor gives to the hero training. It's like when you study, it's like when you prepare yourself for a concert, right? With your mentor, and you train and you train, and you realize which are your resources, which is your talent. Because remember, if you believe in God, it's God. If you believe in universe, it's the universe. If you believe in Mother Nature, it's Mother Nature. They are not silly. They will never give to a human being a mission without giving to the same human being the resources, the talents, and the tools to achieve the mission. So if your mission is to make this world better through your music, nature has given you the talent and resources to perform that mission, right? And you only need to train, to find the right mentors. And in the ordeal, finally, the hero uses all these new resources, these new tools, even coming from the part which were black of his character, and he wins, of course. And he wins, and after the winning, he or she has the reward. The prince, if is a prince who freed the princess from a very bad dragon, the princess kisses the prince. Or if it's a pirate, he or she finds the treasure, or maybe the elixir, or maybe something important. Or maybe the sword. It's called also the sword, achievement of the sword. Something precious, something important, something which means you accomplished your mission. And it's so beautiful, and it's full of endorphin, after all, the adrenaline, of all the beautiful things that makes us feel wonderful and beautiful. Think about one time in your life when, after you worked hard, and maybe also you failed a little bit, but then you kept on and you achieved something, big or small, it doesn't matter. How did you feel? The world was wonderful. All the colors were bright. All the sounds were beautiful, right? That's the reward. And it's so beautiful, and it's an extraordinary experience, it's an extraordinary world. And after that, the hero has to start and take the road back. And it's not easy to take the road back, because at that point, it's so beautiful to be in the extraordinary world. We all want to stay in this extraordinary world now. But the journey would not be completed if we don't take the road back. In our real life, taking the road back is taking all what we achieved and we learned and realized and all the beautiful of this, and started to take all this into our ordinary life, knowing that life is also ordinary, and it's good to be ordinary. It's good to become familiar, and maybe it can be boring. We can think it's boring, but it's not. So the hero needs to learn how to take the road back, like the Odyssey. The Odyssey is a huge story about the road back, right? Is it finished? No. Because through the road back, the hero really has to fight to take the biggest challenge, the real challenge. Is a challenge where the hero life is really in danger. In The Lord of the Rings, this happened to Gandalf. Gandalf dies. Gandalf is gray, right, at the beginning, and he's gray and he dies. He goes to hell, and then he comes back and he's Gandalf the White. Because usually this is a metaphor, and in the archetype, in this huge thing that happens after the reward, the hero realizes that it's not only about himself or herself. It happens also to great artists. They have great, or to athletes. They have a great success, wonderful, they achieved. They play in the beautiful orchestra, in the most important theaters. They go on newspaper. They win the big cup. But then something bad happened. To them, something. And there is the real challenge, is when we face that. And in order to win this challenge, we have to leave back something of ourselves that we don't need anymore. Maybe some habits, maybe some values, something that we thought it was important, but is not so important anymore. Maybe it's the judgment of other people. Maybe it's something that really we need to leave back. And it's called the resurrection, not because the hero changes, but because the hero leaves what is not needed anymore. Let go. In English, it's let go. So he or she lets go what is not. And he or she embraces really the light that he and she has. And any one of us, we have our own light. And we have to accept that light. Because if we accept that light, we can really shine. And shining doesn't mean that we are cooler than others. Because when we have the reward, we feel cooler than others because we got it. With the resurrection, we don't need to feel cooler than others anymore. We embrace who we really are and we shine. And when we shine, we let other people around us shining. And in fact, after the resurrection, the hero returned to the kingdom with the elixir. And what is the elixir? Through the resurrection, the hero understands that it's not only about myself. I told you that I was a little child, and I used to be very good in seeing talents. And at a certain point in my life, and then I was lucky. I found mentors, first in performing arts. I worked for a theater, dance, and music company. We traveled all around the world. We created in Bergamo a festival, 2 festivals, which were really getting people from all around the world. It was so beautiful. Then after that, I worked for companies. I work for a company called Diesel, which doesn't only produces beautiful blue jeans, but also owns very famous brands like Vivienne Westwood, Margiela, Ungaro, like the Squared. When this Squared was born because I created the team. So can you imagine when we opened the first store of this square in Via Monte Napoleone, and we had all the Juventus team player, and Rihanna came, you know, to the store on the Cinquecento Fiat, I remember, beautiful. And we had Ricky Martin, okay, which is good looking shit music, but it's okay. We had Lenny Kravitz, okay. So I felt like, wow, I didn't have Instagram, but can you imagine? I would have put like an Instagram with myself and Lenny Kravitz or Rihanna, and so I felt like, wow, I'm so great. And then I decided to do only coaching. I left the company, and my real goal was to have as clients of coaching the most famous people, the most famous and successful people, okay? But then I faced my resurrection, my real challenge. Everything changed, and I realized that I didn't give a shit about how famous is my customer, my clients. I want really to contribute and to create a world where as many people as I can find will be happy and realize their own talent. Because if each of us realize their own talent, the world will be a beautiful place with beautiful energy. Okay, so the return with the elixir means when the hero realizes that whatever he or she learned will change a part of the world, his or at least his or her kingdom. She left as a princess, or he left as a prince. She is a queen now. He is a king, because he takes care and he contributes to the kingdom. And the world is a little bit different, is a little bit better because of him, because of her. And if we talk about your talents, when you play and you receive applause, you feel wonderful, and it's so beautiful. But also when you return with the elixir, you know in your heart that somebody's life, somebody's time, it's better because you touched, through your art, you touched their heart. You made their life more beautiful. Maybe they were sad and your music made them happier. Maybe they were sad, but they didn't want to accept that sadness, and your music made them even more sad, but they could accept that sadness, making that sadness acceptable because it's beautiful, because you guys bring beauty into the world. So the hero goes back to the kingdom with the elixir, which is something that improves. It's when we gain contribution. So we don't do it only for ourselves, and it's good to go to the reward and do this for ourselves, right? If we don't do this, we will never be really able to do contribution. We will contribute, but we will always feel like something is missing, because guys, first we must be selfish and realize ourselves, and then we can return with the elixir and we can contribute to the rest of the world. Thank you for paying attention to me. So in many, you saw that in my presentation, I showed you some pictures of different movies and stories. I'm sure you have some example. Maybe if you think about your favorite book, your favorite story, if you think about your favorite opera, if you think about your favorite music, film, movie, you can find most of these steps, most of this character, because the hero journey is really something that is called an archetype. An archetype is a structure in which all human beings from different culture, from different times, can see and find themselves. And that's why we get so emotional and so touched by some movies, by some operas, by some theater pieces, sorry. This happens when the story tells us about our story, about our journey through a metaphor. In the next events, you will meet 4 heroes. I don't know all of them. I have met some of them, like Tony Lopresti, who wrote something on the chat. Thanks, Tony, from YouTube. And I think they are really hero because they went through a journey and they keep going through many journeys. I remember when I worked in theater, I worked with the director and I worked with actors, musicians, and we were lucky that because we got to know people from all around the world. So I worked with the companies of Teatro Kabuki, Japan. I worked with the orchestra of Bali, music and dance. I worked with the Kerala Kalamandalam, which is the most famous orchestra and dance company for Kathakali. I worked with really people from different parts of the world and different cultures, and even from Argentina, from Brazil. I really had the honor of meeting these beautiful people and storytellers, these beautiful artists. And I remember every time they went on stage, I was working as their team leader, company leader, tour leader, organizing the festival or the shows. I started when I was 19. I remember being 20 and being on my own in Argentina and then in Brazil, traveling 2 or 3 days ahead the company in order to check that the theater was good, for example, because when you dance Indian classical dance like Odissi or Bharatanatyam or Kathakali and you use your foot very quickly, if you have an opera theater where usually the stage is like this, you can't do it. So my job was also to check that everything was good with the artist. And each and every night, each and every artist went through a hero journey, right? Every night before going on stage. It's like me. This afternoon, I went through my hero journey. This morning, I went early to train myself in the gym because that is very useful to me. And then this afternoon, and usually sometimes I say, okay, now I'm gonna call them and tell them that I'm not feeling bad. So I'm feeling bad, I can't do it and somebody else will do it. Because what will they think about it? What is if I, make them losing their time? What if it doesn't work? What if my English is not good enough? And then somebody more important, which is seeing you guys and spending time with you, goes in and they say, okay, I'll do it. So each of you and each of us goes through hero's journey all the time. But if you know the steps, if you want to learn the steps, then you know which resources and which tools you can use to go to the next step, which is the meaning. And can you imagine if you are in a difficult moment, or if somebody you know is in the difficult moment, instead of telling yourself, oh my God, I'm fucking all this up. I'm a failure, I'm a loser, this won't work, it's difficult. Instead of telling yourself this, if you tell yourself, okay, I'm in my hero journey, it's my hero journey, and I'm a hero. Of course, I am. Each and any one of you is a hero. Otherwise, you won't be here tonight, because I don't talk to people who are not heroes. And you tell yourself, I'm living my hero journey. I'm not doing bullshit, or I'm not failing, or I'm not a loser. I'm going through my hero journey, which is the step. Okay, this is the step. Then what do I need? Which resources? Which tool? Maybe I need my mentor. And if my mentor If I don't have a mentor, okay, I need to look for a mentor. And your mentor can be somebody real, but even somebody that you don't know. One of my mentors, his face is behind me. He's called David Bowie. He's not even alive anymore, but I dream him when I need him. Okay, so your mentor can be somebody you know, somebody you don't know. Could be, I know for many people who love Star Wars, my brother's mentor is Yoda. Okay, so he talks to Yoda and Yoda gives him all his advices. So maybe you need a mentor, maybe you need different tools, but if you know that you are living the hero journey and which is the step, the part of the hero journey you know, then you will know how and what you need to do to go ahead, right? Because really, you don't need to build a metaphor to live an extraordinary journey. You are already living an extraordinary journey. So I stopped talking. And I really appreciated your being here tonight. I know that it's almost 1 hour and 20 minutes we are together, and I know that you could do a lot of cool things in this 1 hour and 20 minutes. So really, I didn't give it for granted to have your time. It was very, very precious to me. And I wish you all the best for this July and all the next Julys in the future. And I hope to see you soon again, maybe next July, physically, and to work with you and to listen to your beautiful talents. Thank you very much. Have a good night, or if you are in some part of the world which are different than this one, have a good day, afternoon, morning, whatever it is. And I think you are all, everybody of you probably is over the hemisphere, so it's summer, so have a good summer. If you are below, okay, summer will come eventually.
Thank you, Patrizia. Thank you so much.
Of course, sorry, if you have any question, ask me, but I told you 1 hour and 20 before, nobody asked anything, so maybe it's not needed.
So yes, everybody feel free to ask whatever comes to your mind, and yeah, it would be nice to have some interaction with the Patrizia.
May I ask something, please?
Yes.
Yes. Fermin.
Fermin, okay.
Yes, thanks.
I didn't know where the accent was. I could read it. But...
Thanks so much. It was really interesting.
Where are you from, Fermin?
Spain, from Spain.
From Spain. And are you in Spain now?
Yes, yes.
Wow, where in Spain?
Pamplona. It's in the north.
Pamplona, I know where is Pamplona. Yeah. I didn't go real. I went through Pamplona very quickly. I used to go mostly in Andalusia because I was tour leader of a flamenco company with so yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's in the north. It's in the other part of Spain.
Yeah, exactly. It's completely in a different place, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But flamenco usually is there, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Most of the flamenco people are there. Okay,
So
Fermin.
I wanted to, because I'm doing on my master, I'm doing a research about kind of all these things that you were talking about. Yeah. I'm doing how to enhance joy and confidence during performance. It will be something like this. The title of my research.
Yes.
And I'm really working on the aspect of flow, what you were talking also, but I think like how I explain how it's coming, all this. And for example, for me, it was really about the accept myself, that sometimes can be good, that sometimes can be bad, because every time we need to, we have this feeling of perform in our 100%, but sometimes it's not possible. And as much as you put this pressure, it will be less good.
Yeah,
I think. So yeah, and also about the constructive and destructive thoughts. I'm working a lot about how to distinguish really good. So I wanted to ask you, how do you accept, for example, these things that sometimes can happen that there are coming these bad thoughts, and then how do you just, okay, you listen, and then how you skip them?
Okay. Very good question, Fermin. Do you have like 5 minutes, or do you have less time? Because I will give you a structured answer, because your question is very, very important for artists and for everybody who's performing, even in sports and so on. First of all, let's talk about the thoughts. Usually thoughts come, or also you have your voice usually talking to yourself and telling you things, right? Mm-hmm. And not very, sometimes are constructive, sometimes they are not constructive. First of all, in order to, it's good to accept those thoughts, because the question you need to ask yourself, and of course that is not happening when you perform. I'm talking now about not when you perform, but far from the performance time, okay? When you study or train. Remember that these thoughts most probably have always a good intention. The good intention is to give you the opportunity to improve. It's like bad emotions, negative emotion. People are always scared about negative emotion, like anger, frustration, fear. I don't want to feel those. Those negative emotions really are action signals. It's like a wake-up call. If you feel fear, probably your brain, unconscious, is telling you, Fermin, you need to prepare more. You need to be prepared. Are you prepared? So if the answer is yes, I'm prepared, fears goes away. Okay? Also, other bad emotions have different signal, but I don't have time now to explain all of this. But if you are interested, we will ask Francesco and Benedetta to have another meeting where I will talk about this. The flow, it's a nice word that we use for a performance, right? When we are in the flow is when everything comes out easily, right? And we give the best performance. In NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which I'm a trainer of, this flow is considered, we call it a state. Not a state like a country, but a state, not of mind, not of emotion, not of the body, of three of these things: body, mind, and emotion. We can be in a powerful state or unpowerful state. Unpowerful states are the state where we lose power, so we are weak. Powerful states are states where we are powerful, so we perform. Flow is one kind of state. So to be in a flow, you usually have a specific physical asset. So you stand in a certain way, right? You breathe in a certain way. Then you need to have a specific cognitive situation. So you, in your mind, you make representation, and these representations are powerful. And therefore, you feel some powerful emotion. So when the voice is talking to you, you listen to the voice and then answer to the voice. Or maybe if the voice is keeping talking to you, change the tone of the voice. For example, I'll give you a very general example. The voice tells you, you can't do it. Okay, you can't do it. You can't do it. Imagine yourself telling to yourself, you can't do this. Now change, keeping the same word, and tell yourself, transform this in a question. You can't do it. Does the emotion change? Yes or no? You can't do it. You can do it. Right?
Yes.
So train yourself to change tones of your inner voice when your inner voice is not powerful enough. Also remember that we as human beings, usually we make movies in our mind, right? Of what's going to happen. or of what happened. And usually we keep running the bad movies, of course. Would you go to see again a movie if you didn't like it? No. But we keep doing movies in our mind where we fail, we are not good enough. Change the movie you run in your mind. Change the picture you have in your mind, because these are very strong orders that you give to your brain. The more your brain sees unpowerful movies, the more your brain will think those movies are the goal, are the objective. Our brain does what we imagine. We keep imagining. So before you perform, visualize everything going well, and find out think of a moment when you lived this flow state, and analyze which was your posture, how did you breathe, what were your thought, which was your biochemistry. So were you hydrated? Did you drink water? Or maybe you had vitamins, or maybe you were tired because you didn't sleep enough, or maybe you, I don't know, you had bad food, or you drank, or whatever. So biochemistry is very important, of course, the posture, how we breathe, and what we run in our head. But okay, Patrizia, thank you very much. But how can I run powerful movies? Well, you are the director of your own movies in your mind, and this is a question of training. The more you will train, the more you will be able to do it. Accepting that you may have negative thoughts. These and your brain has a positive intention to save you from challenges, from something that may hurt you. So accept the positive intention, and then manage this through visualization, getting ready, training. Of course, usually in NLP training, we spend one day working on this. My answer was very quickly, but if you want to do some Google research, Google NLP, state management, and you can find a lot of explanation.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
Very welcome.
Thanks.
Okay. If you don't have any question more, once again, thank you very much.
Patrizia, one question from Irene, which is asking,
sorry. Yeah.
Are you a hero even if you don't accept to proceed in your journey?
Are you a hero even if you accept not to go further in your journey?
Exactly.
That was the question. Yes, of course. You are a hero even if you don't accept. You are a hero even if you don't accept the call, refuse the call, or even if you decide that you don't go further in your journey. This is very important. You are a hero if you go through your journey and accomplish your journey. You are a hero if you decide to refuse the call. That is not your call. And you are a hero if you decide to leave the journey. This is not my game. This is not my story. Why am I saying decide? Because if you decide, it means that you are thinking about it, you consider about it, and you decide not to do it because it's not aligned to your values, to what you are, to who you are. It's when you let go of the journey. You say, okay, this is not my circus, this is not my game, I'm out of this. Or maybe this is not ecological for me. In NLP, we don't study in NLP, the NLP means neuro-linguistic programming, is the study of how we program our neuro part, our brain, and then we feel, we act, we take decision, and so on. In neuro-linguistic programming, there is not any judgment or right or wrong, good or bad. The judgment is working or is not working. is effective or ineffective, and is ecological or is not ecological. If the hero starts and goes through a journey, but this journey is not ecological, what do we mean by ecological? Ecological means in the medium long term is good for you, good for your health, good for you, and if good for the world, good for the people. For example, smoking can be effective because maybe if I'm nervous, I smoke 1 packet of cigarettes and I feel relaxed. It's not very ecological because if I smoke 1 packet of cigarettes every time, I'm kind of nervous. If I'm nervous very often, okay, I won't be able to breathe, right? So if the journey is not ecological, is not aligned to your values, is not who you are, deciding, okay, this journey is not for me, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it now. I'm not gonna do it at all. Yes, of course, you are a hero, absolutely. Because that is also a journey. Any decision we take is a journey, is a hero journey. Remember, guys, success is the past participle, okay? Well, in Italian, okay, it's not really like this in English, but in Italian, successo is the past participle of happening. Succeeding meaning happening, okay? So in Italian, successo is also happened. We are always successful because we are always happening. And our journey is accomplished whenever we do something by deciding what we do, even if what we decide is to give up something. Did I answer? Was it clear? Okay.
I think there is Montserrat who wants to ask something, so I unmute her. I hope it's working. Okay, I don't know how to do. Maybe Daniela.
Yes, I think she is unmuted.
Okay, perfect. Please.
Hi, Montserrat.
Hi. Hi.
Where are you from?
I'm from Spain also.
Wow,
from
where in Spain? Where?
Catalonia, in Tarragona.
Wow, nice.
I have a question. Well, thank you very much for everything you said. It was very interesting.
Thank you.
What are when the hero is facing so many obstacles in the journey, or I mean, everybody here will live many things that sometimes it's like, okay, maybe so many negative things are telling me maybe choose another path, no? Which are for you the resources or the tools that the hero can use to refocus the path, or just to tell himself, no, this is the right path, I should keep going this way, or keep fighting for this dream or this goal?
Okay, this is a very good question. You know, my son is 17 years old, and when he was around 7, he went to the park, but the other children didn't want him because he couldn't play football, football, because he did other sports. We were not football fans. So he came home and he said, oh, the other children don't want me because I can't play football. So he spent some time, you know, in our home trying to play football. Then he went back to the park and said, okay, I can't play football, but if you want, I can be the goalkeeper. Nobody wants to be the goalkeeper. So they say, okay, now, okay, be the goalkeeper, you will play this. Then after a while, that was summer. Winter came and he said, Mom, I would like to join the team of where the place we live, because all my friends are there. Now they are friends and I want to do football with them. So I stay with them. Do you mind? He was doing karate, other thing. I said, okay, maybe you want me to do karate. I said, no, okay, do what you want. So I went to play football with these guys. He was 7, yeah. And when he was 9, he was a player in AC Milan. Because he was a talent, and we didn't know. He didn't know himself too. And when he was 9, AC Milan one night called us and they said, we want your son. And he's 17 now, and he's still in AC Milan. His dream is to become an athlete, like a professional athlete. Sometimes everything is great. He scores, he's on the newspaper and so on. Last year, he grew very quickly, so he had a problem on a bone, so he didn't play at all very much. And when he went back, the coach wouldn't really make him play. So he was very bad. And sometimes he comes to me and say, and I think maybe the universe is telling him that he should do something else, like going to university, like I would like to. I would love him to go to university, you know, and be in the business, because this is what I'm doing. So I'm saying maybe the universe is telling him, don't do it, it's not your future. Then he comes to me and say, okay, this is not working now, but you know, I want to win the World Championship. No, I want the Champion League. I want to win the Champions League. And this is not a dream, this is a goal. I say, okay. And sometimes, of course, he thinks maybe I shouldn't leave. So what does the hero need? Sometimes the hero needs to rest. Sometimes the hero needs to tell himself or herself, it's okay if you leave. Because maybe this is not really the way you think your dream can come true, like winning the Champions League, won't really be your mission. Maybe the mission is something different, and what you're doing now is preparing to that mission. Maybe this can be something you enjoy in your life, and it's not your mission. So the hero sometimes maybe can say, should or can tell himself or herself, if it's okay if I don't do it. And then rest, do something else, take a walk in the nature, go with some friends, having fun with them, do something you like which is different from the mission, okay? And if you read movies and read stories and movies, this happens, right? Like he or she goes doing something different, because that will change your pattern, that will change your mind. And then listen to your heart and ask your heart, is this my mission still? Is this my dream? And trust your heart. If your heart tells you, yes, it is. Although I'm scared, although it's difficult, although I may do this and that and that. You know, I don't come from a rich family, and in order to study what I studied to develop talent, I had to go to school in England and United States, because at that time in Italy, we didn't have this kind of schools or teachings. But we didn't, my family wasn't rich. So at the beginning, I went to England, and in order to pay my staying, I was an au pair in a family where the lady was very traditional. She didn't have a washing machine. I had to wash all their dresses, underwear, everything. Can you imagine? With my hands. And I said, why is it worth it? I mean, why should I do this? Will this work? So it's difficult sometimes. But then I stayed, because in my heart I said, okay, it's okay. I will do everything, but I want to do this. Remember one thing, your mission is not exactly what you do as a job, for example. Your mission is what you do to use your talent in different contexts. So you can, if tomorrow we have all Martians and they come here and they tell, okay, you cannot play in an orchestra. This is not going to happen anymore. Ask yourself, how will I accomplish my mission then? And your brain will find ways, creative way to accomplish your mission. So going back, is the universe telling me I should leave? Probably not. The universe is testing you. and is training you. Because it's like when you go to the gym or when you do dance. If you don't stress your body, the muscle won't grow. If you don't stress your brain, the muscle won't grow. If you don't stress your creativity, art won't come. But sometimes give yourself permission to consider to live and do some and take a rest, a psychological rest. Do something you like, be in connection with nature, with beauty. I mean, you're living in Spain. Have a walk in these beautiful villages and cities and places you have all around you. Bring beauty, a different beauty than music, but any kind of different beauty in your heart, and then ask your heart. And you will be resilient. This is called being resilient. Did I answer? If you want to ask me more, please feel free.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was
Thank you, Montserrat.
Very clarifying.
Thank you, Montserrat. Okay.
Patrizia, maybe there's a question in the chat.
Yeah, let me see. Question from Lorenzo. It is normal to feel a fairly constant need for new mentors to replace mentor with others. Do you find this is a symptom of insecurity inherent to the person, or do you find it's something normal in the path of an artist? Dear Lorenzo, if this is a symptom of insecurity, this means that I'm a very insecure person, because I always look for different and new mentors. Usually, some mentors, some coaches think, for example, that when they support a hero in his or her journey, they are the hero of the other person's journey. But they are not, they are the mentor. You are the hero of your journey. And yes, you may look for different mentors. It's very good if you learn something from the mentor you leave. Okay, if you change very frequently your mentors, it may be for 3 reasons. First reason, you choose mentors that are not really mentors. They don't have anything to teach. So find a way to choose mentors that can give you something. Secondly, maybe those mentors are stressing you or provoking you. So you leave them because they put you in an uncomfortable situation. In that case, remember, sometimes it happened to me. Okay, so this mentor is not really good, but it was the best mentor I could have because they were provoking me and putting me in an uncomfortable, unfamiliar place. If that is the reason, then keep them, because mentors are not there to cuddle you, they're there to train you and to teach you. So sometimes they can be like provoking. Third, you learned the thing you need to learn, so you're ready for a new mentor. In that situation, it's good to change them. Otherwise, you become dependent from the mentor. In fact, in all the hero journey, the mentors, at a certain point, the mentor disappear, right? They don't stay with the hero all the time, right? They're not there every time, or all the story. At a certain point, the mentor disappear because the hero has learned what he or she needs to learn. So yes, it is. And in a path of an artist, is it normal? Yes, it is normal. If for mentor, you mean teachers, people who can teach you something, like even artistically, please have different mentors. And not only music mentors. Please give to your brain beauty, food, but not only music. Don't listen only to the music that you play. Listen to different kind of music. Go and look for beautiful things. Go to the theater, read, watch movies, walk in the nature, walk in the beauty, have feelings. Go to a perfume store. smell all the perfumes. Go to a place where they sell good food, smell all the food. Give to your five senses beautiful information, but because your brain will store them. It's called contamination, which is now not very good because we have a virus going around the world, but contamination is very good for artists. Otherwise, you will know everything about that thing that you do and creativity will go away. So change mentors, yes, big time, but also give to your five senses beautiful inspiration. So smell, taste, touch. Go to a textile store, cloth store, and touch all the beauty, touch silk, touch wool, touch cotton. Yes, experiment with, see things, hear things. So give to your five senses food coming from different sources. And change mentors, yes. Bring variety in your brain. For example, I'm an NLP expert. I haven't read all the books in the world about NLP. When somebody talked to me only about NLP, I said, oh my God, I mean, yeah, you know all of this, but you don't need to know this and read 500 books on the same subject. Read a story, read Dostoevsky, read some go to a concert, because you need to give to your brain food, variety.
Patrizia, I have a question, if
yes.
I might do it. In our journey, general life journey, we have many small journeys and challenges, and sometimes happen to me that I feel to pass through a journey in a very good way, and I accomplish what I have to accomplish. I understand it's important for me, and so I have back something very important. And sometimes I think, okay, I grew up well, I understood this, and then I'm at this level. So I go on to grow and expand my sensitivity, my possibilities. But sometimes then I fail immediately, and so I see that the line, it's really floating sometimes, and it's what does it mean? And it's correct, or yeah, it's correct to think that after a journey you reach something for yourself that stays with you for the rest of your big journey. And yeah, this is the point, why we go up and down, why I go up and down. And yeah, what does it mean in a way, if it's clear? I don't know.
Okay, well, first of all, it means that we are human beings. Okay, and if you are not algorithm, and even algorithms sometimes have some problems, but less than human beings. Being human beings, we have emotions, we have, as I said before to Fermin, we have biochemistry working good or bad in us, we have emotion, and we have cognitive changes. So sometimes we fail in doing something we were good. We are good usually. This happens, okay? Yes, when we achieve new resources through a hero journey, those resources remain with us, but they are there, but not always we are in the state of tapping into those resources. So maybe if you talk about states and resources, my suggestion, my advice is to work to be able to go into the state you need to be in order to perform. If you talk about other kind of up and downs, like emotional or like having new challenges, well, if the challenge coming back and back and back and back is always the same, then it means that you need to complete that journey a little bit more. There is something missing, because the challenge and the downs usually are calls, like, hey, this is not working. If the up and downs happens for different reason, not for always the same reason, then it means that we live many hero journey. It's like, you know, when the prince goes through, or the princess, they go through the hero journey, they come back and they have they conquer their own kingdom, they become king, queen or king, then everything is now, everybody was living happily ever after. Shit, it's not living happily ever after. After 1 year, they may have a dragon will come to the kingdom, or another king will come to conquer the kingdom, of a virus will come and everybody will have, or a thunder will kill all the food. And so this is life. Yeah, it's like, you know, series. You have the first season, then you have the season 2, the season 3, and so on. The only time where everything is the same and nothing new will happen is when you're dead. So,
thank you.
So it means that you're a human being and you are alive. So it's good. And again, remember, you said one thing before, which was very important for the younger people: values. Values are one very important part. Values are why we do things. Behind your dream, behind your, if your goal is to play in this orchestra or to do that event or to do that job, whatever, behind that, the reason why that is important to you is not the goal, is the values. The values are our belief on what it's important to us. Success, friendship, love, beauty, freedom, all these are values, what is important to us. And we have our own values. Not everybody has the same values. And there are values which are more important, values which are less important. Remember, your goal must be aligned to your values. Otherwise, it won't be ecological. So if the goal for a long time is really putting your values into difficult, it's, you know, not answering to your values, then you may sabotage your own goals. And maybe you have to change, maybe not the goal itself, but the way you are going to reach that goal.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So, and we go back to the living the journey or living the journey. You will, and the hero never leaves the journey. But sometimes the hero thinks that the reward is the treasure, but it really is not the treasure, it's something different. So going back to the question we had before, is the hero still a hero if he or she lives the journey? The hero never lives the journey. Probably he or she may understand that the reward is something different because the mission is different. It's not what she or he believed at the beginning. And that is the real journey, to find out that. It takes more courage to do that. Yeah. Okay. For me, for example, if you want me to share something about my journey, for me, that was when I decided to leave the world of very famous people, very famous stars, because I didn't care anymore to have as client stars. I lived that world, and I went more into organization, because through organization I could really contribute to more people, or to young talents like we are doing today, because it's like to say, okay, I contribute to this flower full of huge flower, or I contribute to a young flower, knowing that that flower tomorrow will be a even more beautiful flower, because it's a flower today already. So if you are already famous and a star, how can I contribute? But you know, that was, for example, my resurrection. I don't care if I'm on newspaper anymore. I care if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 10 beautiful faces of beautiful people who are playing or doing this beautiful thing somewhere in Spain or in other countries. It's a choice. And now anyway, you know, Lenny Kravitz is older, so, and I'm joking. I was joking about Lenny Kravitz ass, which was kind of something important. Sorry for joking, but sometimes also we need, you know, to put some humor in. Otherwise, everything is so serious. And sometimes also, you know, in Italian we say "manda le cose in vacca." In English, I don't know how to say, but it's like, you know, break the pattern and say something stupid and have a laugh at yourself and at the situation, and then go back and be serious again. Because also this is creativity. Other questions? Or maybe you want to say something. Okay. So for European, maybe we are going for the, well, in Spain, you're going to dinner a little bit later. But if you will go, enjoy your food. And remember, please, I give you some homework. Go on a adventure of the 5 senses, experimenting new tastes, new smells, new music, new things that you can see or read, new sounds, new images, and new touches. Okay, promise me? Okay. So thank you again very much. Good night.
So thank you, Patrizia. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody. It is very nice to see all your faces, even like this. I must say it's making me missing even more the festival this year. It's very strange for us here in Colico. I guess also for you, and also for all the other musicians. Many of them, they told me in the past weeks that would have been strange to not be in Colico this summer. And so we are very much looking forward for the next edition. And but first of all, for the next meeting, we will have on Monday at 6 p.m. with Tony Lopresti, wow, which you remember, and Patrizia also knows him very well. And yes, Tony will be connected with us from New York. So another very an important place for this moment, and which suffered very much. And so it will be very nice to be all of us together with him and to share with him his story, his journey, and what he experienced also during this this period, which was very intense, like for all of us. And as you know, then we will go on Wednesday with Diego Mateus, our chief conductor. And then next Saturday, 25th, with Julian Racklin, a very good friend of us of the festival. And then another friend of the festival, Moni Ovadia, which is a wonderful actor and singer, which does a very, very particular and strong theater with music and so we will have the chance to talk also to him and yes, I'm very happy that you are here and that you spend all this time together. It's very important, and it's a big challenge to listen for 2 hours, but we accomplished the first step of this journey together. And to everybody which is following also on YouTube, you can follow us on our website, which is www.festivalmusicasull'Acqua.org, and then our YouTube channel, of course, on Facebook, on Instagram, and yes, adesso parlo in italiano per le persone italiane che ci hanno seguito e che hanno avuto la forza di seguirci fino adesso. Speriamo che questa conversazione in inglese non sia stata troppo complicata. Dobbiamo fare questi incontri in inglese, vogliamo fare questi incontri in inglese perché sono dedicati prevalentemente ai nostri musicisti di MACH Orchestra, e questa orchestra è un'orchestra internazionale con musicisti meravigliosi da tutto il mondo, quindi siamo limitati in questa situazione e dobbiamo scegliere una lingua per tutti, quindi speriamo siate riusciti a seguire con facilità, e vi aspettiamo tutti il lunedì per continuare questi viaggi insieme. And so, ancora in inglese adesso, I thank you all very much. I thank the staff of the festival. I thank really very much Patrizia. It's always enriching, giving so much energy, contribution and joy and inspiration to be in touch with you and to work together with you. And it's a big gift for us to have you with us always in all we do together. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you much, and the same here, really. And thank you to all, yes, the people who helped us today, with Davide, who taught me how to put my presentation on screen, and to each and any one of you, really. Thank you very much.
So, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Hasta luego. Hasta pronto, maybe. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.